Welcome to the Solopreneurs CEO podcast. I'm Karen Kilby-Clark, and along with my co-host Marsha Sheehan, we help solopreneurs lead with clarity and build businesses that grow without burnout. This show is for solopreneurs who've built something real but are carrying more of the load than they want to be. Your business works, but it depends too heavily on you. And deep down, you know it shouldn't feel this hard. Here, we talk about the mindset, systems, structure, and support it actually takes to run a business without sacrificing your well-being. We're not about hustle culture or pushing harder just to survive. This podcast is about stepping out of reactive solopreneur mode and into CEO-level leadership so your business can support your life instead of consuming it. If you're ready for honest conversations, real-world strategies, and a lot less pretending, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Welcome back. So in this episode, we wanted to start with something that we think a lot of people are feeling, but maybe not saying out loud. That feeling of looking at your business and thinking, I'm doing everything right, so why do I still feel behind? Your calendar is full, you're getting things done. You're not just sitting around doing nothing all day, but yet you still feel like you're constantly trying to catch up. So that's what we're going to dig into today.
Yeah, that catching up feeling is so real. What's wild is from the outside, it doesn't really look like anything's wrong. So if someone looked at your business, they'd be like, you're fine, you're doing great. Thanks, Tammy.
Exactly, which it almost makes it worse because then you start to make that mean something about you, right? Like, why can't I figure this out? Why does this feel harder than it should? Why does it look more successful than it feels on the inside? In this episode, we want to throw out like a different possibility. What if you're not behind because you're doing something wrong? What if you feel behind because you can't actually see what's happening in your business?
Okay, say more about that because I think people would hear that and be like, what do you mean? I literally live inside of my business. Of course, I know what's happening.
And that would be the assumption, of course. But knowing what's happening in your business is not the same as seeing it clearly. This is why coaches and consultants exist, right? Most solopreneurs are operating off of what they think is happening, not what's actually happening.
Yeah, like this is only going to take a few minutes energy, right?
Yes, exactly. Like, I'm just quickly checking messages. This takes 10 minutes. Client work is straightforward. But when you really look at it, like in total, it's not 10 minutes, it's 40. It's not a quick check, it's constant interruptions. And it's not straightforward. It's expanding way past what you had planned or what the project was scoped for.
Yeah, and that really adds up, especially with the task switching, because even if it's a few minutes, there's been like psychological studies about how much time it actually takes to get back into something when you have interruptions. Yeah, the time adds up, and it's not in a dramatic, obvious way, but the slow creep where suddenly your whole day is gone. I've had so many days like that where I look back and I try to validate myself by looking at my calendar. It's like, oh, okay, I did actually have meetings, but like, where did the time go?
Yeah. And that's the part that people miss. Like, it's usually not one big thing. It's a bunch of small things that feel super harmless in the moment. You're like, oh, no big deal. But collectively, they are legit stealing hours from your week.
This is where people can go like straight into I'm a fix it mode where they're like, okay, I just need to reorganize my schedule.
That's when you try the 30th planner, where you're like, this one is going to work. This system will be the one. But yes, 100%. You try restructuring your week. You might try time blocking. You might download a new app that's supposed to help you stay focused, or you just try to be more, air quotes, disciplined.
Yeah, and that can work for like 5-10 minutes, especially for the ADHD brains where they're like, ooh, I got a dopamine hit from buying this new planner and using my highlighters and my colored pens and everything. But yeah, it's not a long-term fix for sure.
Yeah, it's not. And then you're like right back where you started. And the reason is that you're trying to fix something before you measure it and really get clarity on what it is you're trying to fix in the first place.
Yeah, and that's the key part to this episode is because if you don't really know where your time is going, then you're basically building a schedule on assumptions.
Exactly. And guesses will make you feel productive. You feel like, okay, I figured something out, but they don't really hold up when you put them under the microscope. Guesses are not going to give you the data that you need. So this is where we started naming something that we are seeing all the time, and we call it the time thief.
When we came up with that name, I pictured the old school McDonald's burglar, the guy with the little eye mask on that's running around. Like we said earlier, it's not one obvious thing, and it's not like you can just say, okay, here's the problem, let's just fix that. It takes more than that.
Yeah, and it's way sneakier. It's things like you're constantly responding to messages throughout the day, or redoing work because there's no clear system or process, or being the one that everything has to go through in your business. I can't count the number of times on one hand this week that my one client was like, I know I'm the bottleneck. I know I'm the bottleneck because I have to review it. I have to approve it. I have to write it. She knows that she's the bottleneck. A lot of us know that, but what do you do about it, right? And doing work that you feel productive doing, but it's not actually moving your business forward, like at all.
Yeah, that one's the hardest one, I think, because it really does feel like you're working. I feel like we get a lot of self-satisfaction out of productivity, but you're not moving the needle, right? So there's like no red flag when you are actually working and you get to the end of the day and you're butt exhausted. Well, like you're bone tired. But again, it's like going back and thinking like, what did I actually do?
Exactly. And nothing about it feels like it's a problem in the moment, right? That's like you said, that's the problem. But when you like zoom out or you do that look back, you're noticing that it's a massive drain on your time.
Okay, so where does the shift actually happen then? This is where people stay stuck for a long time, especially if they're not working with a coach or a consultant and they're just in the day to day and they probably know that they're the bottleneck.
The shift is a little simpler, I think, than most people would expect, but it's also harder, which is why a lot of people haven't made it yet, right? Because operators will try to go to manage my time better. Like we said, time blocking, new planner, or productivity apps, all the stuff. But when you approach it from like that CEO mindset, you're going to start with, I need to know what's stealing my time. Visibility is going to be first. Clarity is going to be first because you can't jump to solutions without having the actual clear picture of the problem. Instead of asking, how do I fix this? You're going to say, okay, what is actually happening here? Not guessing, not assuming, because we don't want to make an ass out of you and me, and not relying on just what feels true. Like, this is what I think is happening. Really looking at what's real, what's actually happening. And then you're going to make your decisions from there. So, we want to ask you something that might feel a little uncomfortable, but if you had to bust open your calendar and show someone exactly where your time went, hour by hour, could you?
Yeah, and we're not talking your planned week that you scheduled the Friday before, the Sunday before, like not what you intended to do, but what actually happened.
If the answer is no, then it makes sense that you feel behind. You're trying to optimize something that you haven't fully laid out, that you can't fully see.
This is literally why we created the Time Thief workshop. Karen, do you want to tell them about it?
We're not trying to give you another strategy. We're going to walk you through how to see your time clearly in a way that's honest and sometimes a little confronting. Like you might feel called out, and that's okay.
Yeah, but it's going to be in the best way possible because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then it's like walking through a new door in your business, right?
Yes. And that's when things start to change because you're not going to try to fix this by, going harder, giving more effort, or fixing the problem before you get the clarity. You finally work through the truth of what's happening in your business.
So if you feel like you're falling behind, and even though you're doing everything, air quotes, right, consider that it's not an effort problem, it's actually a visibility problem.
And a visibility problem is actually much easier to fix than people think.
Yeah. And when we say visibility, obviously we mean like getting visible on your calendar, not like getting out on social media more, because that can definitely be a time thief, right? Like where we're thinking like, oh, let me just make this real quick. And 3 hours later anyway, not speaking from personal experience or anything. I guess that would be professional experience, whatever. So anyway, so we're going to link the time thief workshop in the show notes. It's going to be live, and we're going to have you walk away with a clear snapshot of where your time is actually going. Oh, and it's free. So there's no reason for you not to be there. We want you making real CEO level decisions, and we think that can happen by getting that true look at the time thief and what he's stealing from you.
Yeah, so come and join us. You're definitely going to want to be there.
Thanks so much for spending time with us today. If this episode made you feel seen or helped something click, join our free community at thesolopreneursceo.com. This is a space to connect with other solopreneurs who are building sustainable businesses and don't want to do it alone. And if you found this conversation helpful, leaving a quick review helps more people find the show and reminds them they're not the only ones feeling this way. We're really glad you're here, and we'll see you in the next episode.